guys, what's going on? My name is Marcus, and you're watching Roads Untraveled. Today is a very special day, and I'm very excited because behind me is Exit's beautiful BMW i8. Now, it's not every day that we get to drive a car like this, and the BMW i8 is kind of in a market segment all on its own. There's really nothing else like it, let alone something I've driven. The doors go up, it looks insane, people are taking pictures everywhere you go, and that's really what we're here today to find out. So let's go for a drive and see if it is actually indeed a supercar. Wow, that's actually really quick. It's got torque just instant. That is nuts. So if you don't know already, all-wheel drive. It's got electric motors powering the front and the rear, I believe, and then the gasoline turbo 3-cylinder powering the rear. And I mean, just right there, you put your foot down, it pushes you back. I mean, it's not scary power, but it's enough, and it feels very fast. And the thing that gets me just off first impressions right there is the torque is just instant. I feel like you have the benefits of having the electric motors providing that instant torque. It kind of reminds me of the Tesla I drove. But then you have that gasoline engine, and when you pull the paddle and you shift, you still feel it and hear it going through the rev range, and you get a little bit of exhaust crackles when you shift. That's unlike anything I've ever experienced. It's kind of like the best of both worlds. Yeah, it pushes you back. Oh, that's fun. Just ripping through those gears with the paddle shift just adds to the experience, man. Now, this engine being turbocharged, you would expect that you get a little bit of like boost lag, right? Because it is a very small displacement engine with a turbocharger on it that is pumping out. I think the gasoline engine's pumping out something like 230 horsepower. So you would expect that it has boost lag. But the fact that it has the electric motors completely compensates for any boost lag that you may feel if this was just a gasoline engine, right? So there's absolutely no lack in power anywhere in the rev range. Even at $2,000, you put your foot down, it feels quick. Wow, it actually sounds really good. Now I'm pretty sure this car actually does have kind of an augmented sound that's pumped into the cabin, as most new BMWs have. But honestly, I'm a purist. I'm an automotive purist for sure, but it does sound really good. I'm surprised at how good this car sounds. Kind of a deep, throaty growl, kind of something you would expect from a like a turbo 4-cylinder with a muffler, almost like an Alpha 4C kind of sound. There's also like cool spaceship noises when you're slowing down. It's like it's winding down. It's really cool. Transmissions, very quick actually, really nice. As with all BMWs, what you basically would buy a BMW for is the quality and the drivability and as well the comfort, right? The BMW i8, in my experience right now, isn't really sacrificing anything. It's a supercar from the outside, and then you get in, and most supercars actually, you expect to just kind of beat you up over long drives, right? The i8 so far is extremely comfortable. The seats have plenty enough bolstering. Now, it is a little tough to get in and out, but once you are in here, it's really comfortable. I just can't get over right now. In front of me, I don't know if you guys can see that on the GoPro back there, but there's a heads-up display out in front of the car, which is telling me the speed I'm going and is also telling me the speed limit on this road right now. Really cool. I know a lot of other cars have heads-up displays, but this is my first time experiencing it, and it's just crazy, out of this world. It's really a futuristic car inside and out. In terms of steering feel, the steering's actually pretty light. It does get a little bit heavier when you get into the corner. It is no hydraulic power steering. It doesn't compare to some of the other cars that I've driven, but modern BMWs, I think, have done a fantastic job. When comparing this to the Tesla steering is very numb. You can tell it's just very fake. I feel like BMW's done a great job in making it feel like the steering is actually, in fact, attached to the wheels, which I find a lot of modern cars don't do. So I feel like BMW does a really good job with interior layout and just the ergonomics overall in their interiors. So while some people could knock the i8 for having quote-unquote a basic interior for BMW standards, it's nothing really crazy above what they put in their other cars like the M4, M5 or whatever. I mean, the steering wheel is great. Everything's laid out perfectly. You're not reaching for the paddles. There's a few buttons on the steering wheel, nothing excessive though, just everything that you would need and want. You got your big navigation screen up on the dash. Heads-up display makes it really easy to drive. It's just an all-out great experience. Speaking of interior, another thing that BMW might mention as kind of a aspect of this car that would be a selling point is, oh, hey, it's got 4 seats, right? Well, try fitting yourself back there. There's no way you're gonna fit 4 people in this car. Maybe a very small child. Even then, they will probably be complaining about the lack of leg room back there. Very quick, wow. I love how the exhaust just kind of blips and pops a little bit every time you shift, and that's really what reminds me of the Alfa Romeo 4C. I haven't driven one of those, but I've heard them from the outside, and this actually really reminds me of that car. Overall, just a really fun time. The BMW i8 is surprising me, for sure. It looks like a supercar, it feels like a supercar, yet it gets really good gas mileage, and some aspects of the car would suggest otherwise, that it is a hybrid, right? Which isn't necessarily a bad thing at all.
Shining through the dark, past 1,000 stars, we have come this far. Who we are is just a dream.
Right now we're driving in all electric mode. As you can hear, or as you can not hear, it's pretty silent. There's a decent amount of power still. I would imagine it's just kind of good for getting around town, or if you really want to save some gas, or if you're doing some sort of stealthy operation, you could use it for that too. But I mean, it's quick enough to get you around. It's definitely not close to 400 horsepower like the combined power would be, but it's really cool just driving a silent car like this. So after you're done putting around in e-drive mode and all electric, you can take it off e-drive, throw it in sport, the gasoline engine fires up, and you've got full control over the gears with the paddles, and the sound comes to life. Instant torque once again. It really sucks you back, that's for sure. There's no denying that. The brakes, I mean, they feel great, definitely adequate for the car. I mean, the car doesn't really weigh that much, so to have a crazy carbon ceramic brake setup on this car would kind of be overkill. So I'm glad it has the brakes it has. I'm having a lot of fun behind the wheel of this car. It definitely feels like you're very safe and secure, that's for sure. It's not a very raw experience like some of these big horsepower, like, you know, RX-7 Skyline Supra that you get out of this. But it's really something unique, and to have it here on the channel, I'm super stoked because we don't get to drive new cars very often. So to answer the question at the beginning of the video that I proposed, is the i8 a supercar? I would say it's kind of riding a very fine line between sports car and supercar. It doesn't have a V10, it doesn't have a V12. It's got the looks, it's got the doors, and the sound, I mean, the sound of the car, it actually sounds really awesome. I don't think there is a definitive answer to whether it is a supercar or not, because first off, supercar, there is no definition for that word. So if this is a supercar to you, then it is a supercar. If it's not, it's not. It's really as simple as that. All right, you guys, so we just finished driving this BMW i8 right here. What do I think of the car? It's simply stunning, it's amazing, it's super futuristic, it surprised me in so many ways. It actually reminded me a lot of the Tesla Model S P85D that we drove, but I mean, it does have that turbocharged gasoline engine in the back too, so you can just roll through the paddles, you get the sound, you get the control over the car that you want. It's just an amazing experience. I couldn't have asked for anything more from this car. Thank you so much from the guys at Exit for letting me drive the car, and we'll have some more cool stuff coming from them in the future, so look out for that. One last thing I want to mention before we close out the video. Just a year ago, we were only at 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Now we're at over 60,000, and that's all thanks to you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I know there is a small group of you guys that stick around, watch every single video. We know who you are, so thank you so much for leaving your comments, your likes, sharing the videos. We really appreciate the support. Listen to the Roads Untraveled podcast every Wednesday on iTunes. We got new videos coming out every Tuesday and Thursday. So, see you next time.